Next on Outdoor Journal.
That's hit.
We visit the Northeast Kingdom to enjoy some exciting upland bird hunting. After a long day in the woods, we spend a relaxing evening at Quimby Country and learn about one of Vermont's oldest Northwoods sporting camps. Then we head down the road to the West Mountain Wildlife Management Area and discover some of the unique features that this wild destination has to offer.
This program has been made possible by a generous grant from the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department, conserving our fish, wildlife, plants, and their habitats for all Vermonters to enjoy.
There we go. Nice shot. Nestled deep in the vast forests of the Northeast Kingdom is a classic Northwoods camp that's been a haven for hunters, anglers, and other outdoor lovers for more than a century. Located on a quiet pond just a stone's throw from Canada, Quimby Country Lodge and Cottages just might also be the best kept secret in Vermont. To learn more about this historic camp, I went there for an overnight stay and some upland bird hunting. Warren Coleman, the chair of Quimby's board of directors, and I hit the ground running on a mid-October day in search of grouse and woodcock.
Hold. He looks serious.
Yeah, there's a woodcock somewhere right here.
I'll go walk towards him if you go through this left opening right here on the other side of this. No, just right here. I'll go.
Before I do, you step to where you can shoot.
Yep. Good boy, Boone. Hold. Good boy.
I do not see it. It could be right
Could be right next to him. Hold.
here somewhere.
Get ready, Lawrence. There it is. Got it? Nice shot. Nice shot. Fetch it up, Boone. Good shot, Lawrence.
Hunting over a good bird dog is always a pleasure. Exploring new bird covers only enhances the experience.
Fetch it up.
Quimby Country is surrounded by more than 100,000 acres of conserved forest land, so there's plenty of room for hunters and their dogs to roam.
Good boy.
Good dog, bro.
Good boy.
Good dog.
Good boy. Is that your bird? Is that your bird? Is that your bird? You know, Quimby sits right at the top of hundreds of thousands of acres of managed forest lands, wildlife management areas. We've got the Belsladic area and West Mountain. You've got the Conti Wildlife Refuge, and we're located, arguably, I think, in the best area in Vermont for really outdoor activities.
There is so much to explore in this corner of Vermont that you only scratch the surface if you visit for just one day. It requires a longer, more relaxed stay to delve into all that the North Country has to offer. And that's just what guests at Quimby Country have been doing since it opened in 1894.
Originally, Quimby Country was formed as Cold Spring Camp by a gentleman by the name of Charles Quimby, who was a druggist, a pharmacist from New Hampshire. And he came up here, purchased this land, and kind of used it as a business escape for him and his friends to come to the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont for fishing getaways. And he touted it as the best fishing in all of New England, and which arguably it was at that time.
The fine fishing in the surrounding lakes and streams is a big part of what has lured visitors to Quimby Country for more than 100 years. The lodge and cottages sit on the shore of Forest Lake in the town of Averill, and they're just a short walk through the woods to Great Averill Lake. Guests originally arrived by rail in Norton and took a boat across Great Averill Lake. Many guests from cities like New York and Boston would spend the entire summer at Quimby's, enjoying the clear, cool lakes and crisp, clean air.
You know, we're really fortunate to have original photo albums that go all the way back to 1894. We've got annual photo albums for every year that Quimby's has been open. We've got a fishing album that covers the first 20 or 30 years of Quimby's history, and the stringers of fish that are in these photos are just unbelievable. Some of the lake trout are 20+ pound lake trout, and some of the salmon, 4, 5, 6 pound salmon. There's literally hundreds of photos of these catches. There's also, old hunting photos. There's photos of people up here with their Springer Spaniels, running them around and carrying really old side-by-side shotguns. You transport yourself back in time when you pick up these albums, because you're standing in the same places, the cabins are the same cabins, and you can put yourself in those photos. You recognize the backdrop in these photos.
When Charles Quimby died in 1918, he left the camp to his daughter, Hortense Quimby, and it was she who made Quimby Country what it is today. Hortense expanded the property to 2,000 acres, and Quimby soon became one of the area's largest employers, hiring as many as 16 hunting and fishing guides alone. Hortense also expanded the number of cabins, and she named each one after a classic fishing fly. For many years, Quimby Country continued to be primarily a fishing retreat, but in the 1930s, Hortense enticed families to spend the entire summer there.
Hortense Quimby ran it from the mid-1900s, and that's when it became mostly a family destination where people would come from all over each summer, same weeks, meeting up with the same families. And in the late 60s, when there was a possibility that Quimby's was going to be sold, some guests formed a corporation and bought Quimby's. And so today it's still a shareholder-owned corporation.
Even with the change in ownership, very little has changed at Quimby's. That's exactly how the guests like it, especially the multi-generational families that have been returning for years.
I've been coming here for 39 years. My father was introduced to the area by Hortense Quimby and built a cabin on the other side of the lake in 1963. And he's been taking all of his children, including me, up here ever since. And it's one of the unique and most authentic places that I ever come in a given year. It's one that's changed very little over that course of time, which is a really special attribute that doesn't exist in many other places that I visit.
Physically, the camp hasn't changed really at all in over 100 years, outside of a color scheme here and there. The building that we're sitting in right now is the original lodge, the first building built here. And then the cottages are all the same. It started out with tent camps and then grew to the 20 structures, cottages that we have here now. Other than that, everything is basically intact and in its original form.
I grew up in Long Island. I currently live in New York City. And my brother, one lives in Atlanta and one lives in Long Island right now. This is definitely the one commonality that we all have. And this is the one place that brings us together. And I would think that that's probably representative of a lot of the guests and families that come here, that this is the one spot that brings disparate families together.
Although fishing, hunting, hiking, and lots of fresh air are Quimby's primary attractions, many guests return each year for reasons that transcend the outdoors. For some guests, it's a place that has generated many treasured memories.
My father loved to troll the lakes around here, and that's the more common way to fish, Big Averill and Little Averill. And that certainly served as a very important memory because, despite trolling being a relatively boring sort of style of fishing, it also serves another purpose, which is an incredible means to communicate with people. And my father was from Belgium, from Brussels, and we had a lot of European family come over, and you'd get in a boat and you'd spend an afternoon, 4 hours, trolling on Big Averill or Little Averill, and you'd be able to catch up about life and family and just establish a bond within 4 hours that would last for a lifetime.
Quimby's is a 3-season destination. The shoulder seasons of spring and fall are filled with anglers and hunters, but the bulk of its guests visit during the peak summer months of July and August.
During the summer, guests generally arrive on a Saturday and leave on a Saturday. Throughout the week, we provide all the meals for them, and then we offer sit-down dinners, and twice a week we have cookouts out at the Great Averill Lake in an area we call the Rock. They've been doing that for over 100 years. There's a traditional Friday lobster bake that we do in a general cookout on Tuesdays. And then throughout the week, there's all sorts of events offered to guests, from a standard tennis match on Wednesday, a tournament called Quimbledon, which has been going on for almost 100 years, to kickball with the kids, to organized hikes on the property and off the property in the area trails. You know, we get some guests that are more than content just sitting on their porch and reading a book all day long, or paddling on one of our 2 lakes right here on our property. So there's just a little bit for everyone and for people of all ages here.
The surrounding woods and waters offer a range of outdoor activities, from wildlife watching to boating and hiking, and they still provide some of the best fishing and hunting in Vermont.
I think the fishing experience at Quimby Country can be described as extremely diverse. I mean, there's a little bit of something for everyone here. Starting ice out fishing in the spring when you can hit the local lakes for lake trout, your trout species, as well as salmon, to arguably one of the finest rivers in New England, the Connecticut, to fish for all species of trout. And then in the area also boasts a huge assortment of spring creeks, of small streams, of beaver ponds, of mountain lakes, mountain ponds. So basically, any species that you want to target in New England, we have it here. And it's only a short car ride away, or even a walk away.
The only sport that I grew up really being passed on by my father is fly fishing, which is something that's unique amongst friends. I didn't grow up playing baseball or football. It was fly fishing was the one thing that kind of brought us all together, and this was the place that did it. And it still is. Amongst my brothers, that's what we come up to do together. That's the real common bond that we have, and this place and the Connecticut River serve that purpose.
The hunting opportunities at Quimby's are equally varied. The Northeast Kingdom is renowned for its abundant moose and large white-tailed deer, and the area's extensive managed timberlands are an upland bird hunter's paradise.
Hey, little bit, girl. You're excited. We're gonna find some birds today, aren't we? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. You wood dog.
Quimby's welcomes well-behaved hunting dogs. For most upland bird hunters, the chance to watch your dog work is the main reason why fall is so eagerly anticipated. There's nothing like exploring the woods on a glorious fall day with man's best friend.
I've fished all my life, and if I had to choose between continuing to fish or running the dogs on grouse and woodcock for the couple months we have in the fall, I'd give you all my fly fishing equipment, every fishing rod I ever had. It's something I only really got into in the mid-90s, so it's relatively new to me. Maybe I've been doing it 15 years. But to see your lapdog, your English setter, or your Brittany, or whatever your breed of choice is that sits on your lap during the winter, and see that dog come alive and do what it's hardwired to do is just it's something that's incredible.
Whoa, your way, Warren, your way.
That's hit.
All right, you have a good mark on it. Just
Yeah.
let me
It's
me walk in.
It's not hit hard.
Fetch it up, Hen. Here. Fetch it. Dead bird. Here. Good girl. Congratulations. That's a start.
Smaller bird, looks like a male.
Probably a male. I was
Thank
bending over to have a look, to see. All right.
I thought it was
Is
a
there a
grouse.
grouse?
It sounded like there was commotion of the bird trying to get out of whatever it was in.
It was a little thick.
Yeah.
But it came right. I had to sort of pull my head back, and then it peeled
I
off
was
your
like
way.
waiting, looking, and I thank God for open chokes, because I didn't think I was really on that bird. I've never really poked around down here at all. Yes.
Well, you say it looks like good cover, and it proves to be good cover. Dog comes through, slams on point. But then you love the look of the aspen. I just love that sort of smoky gray, a little bit of yellow from the last leaves, the green of the spruce. To me, this is what bird cover looks like. And it's nice bird cover because it's easy walking. There's another point.
Let's go check it out.
Throughout the day, we explored several fine covers. My Irish setter Henna, and Warren's English setter Boone and his German short-haired pointer Heidi each had several productive points. Grouse! Mid-tag alder again. I let fly, I didn't hit it. Bird, you're where you... Bird. Bugger. A pointed bird doesn't always result in a bird in hand. Grouse and woodcock seldom flush the same way twice. Regardless of your success rate, every time a dog goes on point, it's an unforgettable experience. That's a point. That was a hard stop.
I really enjoy working pointing dogs because every time that dog goes on point, there's just a level of anticipation. I don't care how many times you've seen it or how many years you've been doing it. There's a level of excitement there that I really think is will probably keeps most pointing dog owners coming back year after year, waiting for that next fall opportunity.
Bird. Get it? It came down real quick, but I can't say with certainty that I did.
She'll find it if it's there.
I was all amped for a grouse.
Oh, I was thinking grouse all the way.
She should be right on it. She's right on it. She's
Dead
gonna
bird,
pick it
Heidi.
up.
Good girl.
Good job, Heidi. Good girl, Heidi. That's
Heidi.
right.
Come here. Oh, that's it. She's done.
She said
Looks
I
like
brought
another
it back. I'd say that's a juvenile female, or maybe another male. Beautiful bird. I love woodcock. Little acrobats of the alders. That was a nice point. I love it when you watch the dog. You're watching the dog and bang, they run into a wall. Yep, and there's no equivocation. That dog's on point. There's a bird right in front of her. Yeah. There it is. Whoa!
For me, this time of year is, it's how I personally get ready for wintertime. You've got this 2 or 3 month window that to me is the most beautiful time of the year. I mean, obviously we've got people that come from all over the world to view the foliage and see what we have to offer here. So to be out in that landscape and spending time outside and then be doing something on top of that with your dogs and hunting, you know, it's unparalleled, it's special. And hands down my favorite time of year. It really recharges my batteries. You know, if you've spent the season following your dog around the woods, you've probably lost a few pounds, you've probably got scratches and nicks on you and the dog, and come wintertime you're actually ready to take a little bit of a break after you've spent that time in the woods. But it's something that I look forward to, and I know my friends look forward to probably more than anything else the rest of the year.
We had a wonderful day of hunting. My only regret was that I could not stay another night. Former Vermont Governor and U.S. Senator George Aiken loved to visit Quimby Country. To him, the surrounding area was so special, he felt it deserved its own name. He called it the Northeast Kingdom. It truly is an extraordinary place, and what better way to enjoy it than by taking a step back in time with a stay at Quimby's.
One of the things that I find so special about Quimby's is how much quote-unquote wilderness that we actually have here in this part of Vermont, where you're looking at 119 miles to Montreal, where you've got 4.4 million people living right across the border, and you can come here and hike on these trails and climb to the top of these mountains, and as far as the eye can see, there's nothing but forest. I think that's kind of what was the strongest appeal to me, is how this still exists here. It's kind of an oasis.
I think that there's just a tranquility that's unparalleled here. There's the night skies that I haven't seen anywhere I've traveled. There's the sounds, the sights. I mean, it's really, as contrite as that might sound, this is an incredibly unique spot for all of that.
Most people like things the way they are. They like things to stay the same, and coming back every year for a week or two to a place like Quimby's, I think it grounds people. It's something that they look forward to year after year. It's a way for them to reconnect with their families who maybe are coming from some other place in the country.
People are amazed that this is still here, that a place like this still exists. A place that hasn't changed much at all in well over 100 years now. I think that's what strikes people first when they come here. And then by the time people leave, what we hear a lot is that they were able to do a little bit of everything that they wanted to do. If somebody wanted to go fishing, that was there. The hiking was there, the biking was there, the wildlife viewing was there. It's really just, it exceeds everybody's expectation as what you can do here in the Northeast Kingdom. And the fact that you can do it all from this one location, I think is the biggest bit of feedback, that we kind of encompass everything that people are looking for. And sometimes when they come up here, when they leave the city, they don't even know what it is that they're looking for, but they find it here.
What makes West Mountain Wildlife Management Area really special is the scale of the area. You can stand in one spot and take in the view, this vast panoramic view all around, and everything you see is conserved land. It's wildlife management area. It'll never be developed. It'll always be there for the public to use.
West Mountain Wildlife Management Area is located in the remote Northeast Kingdom towns of Ferdinand, Maidstone, and Brunswick. Covering nearly 23,000 acres, it is the largest and wildest WMA in Vermont, and it borders tens of thousands of acres of conserved commercial forest land.
It has a tremendous diversity of habitats for many different species, everything from mountaintops, bogs, ponds, brook trout streams, hardwood forests, spruce fir, boreal forests, and of course the species that are associated with those different habitats. So you can find moose, deer, bear, wild turkey even are in West Mountain Wildlife Management Area. Small game is found there, ruffed grouse and snowshoe hare, and we manage those habitats actively around the peripheral parts of the wildlife management area.
Elevations on the WMA range from over 2,700 feet on West Mountain to 1,100 feet along the lower stretches of Paul Stream. The terrain varies from high elevation spruce fir forests to lowland bogs.
Another unique feature at West Mountain is the logging history of the area, and that lives on today in the camps. West Mountain has always been commercial timberland prior to the state acquiring it. So unlike on some other wildlife management areas, you don't find the cellar holes and the stone walls and the classic signs of human settlement. The soils are relatively poor. It wasn't well suited for farming. It's embedded with huge boulders and that sort of thing. So it's always just grown trees, and it will continue to grow trees forever.
West Mountain WMA is home to 14 species of plants that are rare or endangered in Vermont and 8 sites of ecological significance. Its many ponds, bogs, and wetlands provide nesting and roosting habitat for migratory waterfowl, and its deep forests have a long history of producing large Northwoods deer.
When I think of West Mountain, I think of how the land was shaped by the glaciers. The streams are full of boulders just jumbled of all different sizes that were left by the glaciers. There are eskers there, which are very tall, very narrow, linear mounds of sand and gravel, and in some cases you even drive right on top of the esker. That's where the road goes, and it drops off precipitously on both sides, and that's a glacial feature. You see the far northwoods type vegetation, things like reindeer moss, which is lichens that hang off dead and dying spruce and fir trees.
West Mountain includes more than 75 miles of stream, and the WMA is a top destination for anglers who love to fish for native brook trout.
West Mountain hosts almost the entire watershed of Paul Stream, which is about as remote and wild a stream as you can find in Vermont along its entire length. It's completely undeveloped. There's no residential development other than a dirt road that meanders along portions of it. It's completely wild in a natural state. The water is dark. It's basically tea-colored is the best way to describe it. And sometimes the fish even appear tea-colored. They are stained by the tannins in the water, which is a tannic acid. It's released from the roots of conifer trees like hemlock, spruce, and fir trees. And it's a classic Essex County, Northeast Kingdom feature that you'll find in the streams. You won't find it anywhere else in Vermont. It's a large area. You can have a very remote experience there if you want to and you're willing to walk and get off the beaten path and get away from the trails. You can have an experience where you never see another person all day long there. You can not hear any sounds of civilization there. It's a great place to just go and really get away and just collect your thoughts and think about the natural world.
For more information on this or any other Outdoor Journal segment, be sure to visit our website at vpt.org. Our site features video on demand, contact information, and links to related sites. You can call, write, or email us, and as always, we look forward to your comments and suggestions.
This program has been made possible by a generous grant from the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department, conserving our fish, wildlife, plants, and their habitats for all Vermonters to enjoy.